There are two things about hospitals that I never got used to: the tasteless slop they serve us as food, and the second one, the rancid hospital smell. The sanitization is a large facade. The cleaning is vital, don't get me wrong, but I don't believe you can simply wipe the slate clean. No amount of chemicals can wash away what goes on in a place like this. Something always lingers, something we don't fully understand yet. I have gotten used to death over the last 10 years. I don't kid myself anymore. My workplace is a transition point to the other side. For every person that makes it out of this place with their life, there's a large number of those that they don't. They are in a better place now, as I call it. Hell, any place is better than this. At least that is what I tell myself after spending 10 plus years on Unit 42. There is no denying the presence of this facility. There is no normal ICU here. We have the highest death toll in the country right now. COVID-19 is flooding the unit and stretching our staff and resources thin, like many other hospitals across the world. We are losing the battle, and I'm losing hope. But there's something else, something far more sinister, that is working against all of the efforts put forth by our dedicated staff. It is something separate from the virus itself, and I'm desperately warning anyone who listens right now. Doug Dumont was the first one to confide in me with his fears. He had a tough battle from the get-go. Mid-60s, obese, with a history of lung and heart disease. A low-hanging fruit for the virus itself. Doctor, he's hallucinating. What do you mean, Karen? He says someone visited him last night. I think you should speak with him. How is he looking today? Seems relatively stable. I just made the rounds, but he's visibly shaken. You really need to speak with him. Karen is the most experienced nurse on the staff. Her concern raised an alarm in my head. Mr. Dumont, how are you doing today? Doug was startled by my greeting. He was looking past me, searching for something I couldn't see. I took a quick glance behind me. Same old clock and scuffed white walls that have been there for years. A carbon copy of the other rooms. Doc, where is she? It was difficult to hear him over the machines in the room. A ventilator and an ECG machine hummed and beeped in the background. While his energy seemed low, his tone was definitely urgent. Who? And you call this place a hospital? You tell me who she was. The lady with the light. Doc, I don't know who are you referring to. Last night she nearly killed me. Lock my door right now. I don't want her anywhere near me. Doc, stay calm. You know there are extremely tight visitor restrictions right now. I will check with the front desk. Can you describe what she looked like? She shined a damn light in my face. It was hard to tell. No etiquette at all. And besides that, you guys all look the same these days. Mask, gloves, scrubs, average height, maybe 5'5". I think a brown ponytail. The unit clerk confirmed with security that no one scanned into the unit besides the staff on call that night. I notified the security to keep an eye out, and though nothing more of it. Doc's description fit approximately half of the staff. It could have been anyone. Besides, he was on a slew of heart and COVID-19 medication. Paranoia would be expected. 3 days later, he passed away. His ventilator was found disconnected. That was an alarm. For weeks to follow, numerous reports came in that were suspicious of a missing person, missing PPE, tampering with the machines, missing access cards. There were more dead bodies as a result. The incidents were escalating and rumors started to spread like water. We have checked the access card records. We have checked all the available surveillance footage. This individual is likely a staff member. We all need to be vigilant here. I know we are slammed and stretched thin with multiple patients and minimal resources. I understand this more than anyone. I will ask all you please keep an eye out for strange behaviors. If you notice anybody out of a place, walking the halls in areas that they shouldn't be, etc., please make a note of it and place the time and the whereabouts of the person and report it to your managers. Shirley Seth is the head of the department. She's a hard-nosed, experienced doctor bearing the weight of the pandemic and the livelihood of the unit on her shoulders. She's blaming us for these sick pranks, Karen scoffed under her breath. A sea of uneasy faces scanned the room as the emergency meeting concluded. That next week was when I saw her. I had just finished reviewing a CT scan and I was on my way out the unit to use the washroom. As I passed room 411, I saw someone in scrubs climb up on the gurney. Her ponytail swayed as she began to kneel over the patient. My heart stopped. Out of reflex, I sprinted towards the room. "What are you—" Before I could finish, she looked back and I was overwhelmed by a powerful beam of light. My body went stiff, my vision blurred. I was in some sort of trance. I focused on forcing something out of my diaphragm, any kind of sound to alert a passerby. Nothing came out. I stood there helplessly, watching the light beam steadily approach, intensifying as it got closer and closer and closer and getting bigger and bigger, until I felt a sharp prick in my thigh. I heard the thud of the door and a slow mechanical click just as everything faded to black. "Come towards the light. Let it go. You won't infect anyone anymore." I woke up on the floor with the room spinning. As I thought of the haze, I grabbed the wall for balance. The first thing that I noticed was that the room was in pitch black. When I hit the switch, I was shocked to find the lady with the light was gone. The patient's neck had been hacked at. There were scattered wounds across both sides of her throat. Her mouth was stuffed with blue surgical masks, maybe 10 of them. Panic overtook me as I looked down to see there was blood all over my light blue scrubs. My latex gloves were covered in it as well. It made no sense at all. I pressed the call button as I was overcome with tears. I reached into my side pocket to pull out a heavy, bloody flashlight. Just as Karen rushed in, I was immediately the prime suspect and put under intense interrogation. I was suspended for work, pending retirement from the board, and rightfully so. But I know what I saw. I gave the police everything I had, but the vague description was the same. Blue scrubs, blue mask, bright light. They poked and prodded. But I had no clue where the weapon disappeared that night. And when the incidents didn't stop, but steadily escalated, they started to take their focus off of me. Many more murders followed, more gruesome than what I had witnessed. I still look back and think that flashlight was bullshit, no doubt a plant. No amount of lumens on this earth can explain what I felt in that room, and that blood, it hadn't to be wiped on me or my scrubs swapped. I guess I will never know how it happened for sure, but I have spent many sleepless nights wondering, could I have done something for the patient? Could I have saved her? Will my coworkers ever look at me the same? In a weird way, I'm also relieved. I have worked in other ICUs in the past, and there's nothing like Unit 42. Something in those walls fights to keep you there. I am torn as this pandemic has pushed our need for urgent care to the brink. I wish I could naively tell people to go somewhere else. There's nowhere else right now. Just be warned. Future staff, future patients. I'm out of breath. Future visitors. There's something unsettling and undeniably evil in the Unit 42. You might make it out alive, but it will take a piece of you forever. And the artists. Their website and the original post are linked down below. Please check them and support them dearly. Thank you so much. Please subscribe. Please follow my Instagram and follow me on Twitter. Have a jolly Christmas. And this is goodbye from Dr. Green.